Welcome to part 3 of NatureServe's data use training, data use considerations and requirements. In this part of the training, you will gain an understanding of things that should be considered and the terms of use that must be followed to ensure the protection of species and ensure our ability to continue to make this data available to guide conservation decision-making. So let's look at why there are data use restrictions and why NatureServe network data are proprietary and confidential. NatureServe is developing many types of data, including taxonomy, habitat descriptions, global conservation ranks, species habitat models, etc. And most of this information being developed by NatureServe are not confidential or sensitive and are available to the public on NatureServe Explorer. Our network programs are collecting and working with partners to collect observations for their jurisdiction. The data developed by NatureServe and each of the network programs are continually shared back and forth. This includes a very important but undervalued process of taxonomic reconciliation between local data being developed by our network programs and the central database managed by NatureServe. NatureServe does not own the data that the network programs provide to us. Instead, we have a data sharing agreement, and under the data sharing agreement, our network programs allow us to share data with third parties to support our mutual biodiversity conservation goals. So we provide data under a license agreement to third parties, and we maintain the ownership of the data in order to protect it from misuse or acquisition under FOIA or other state open record laws. License fees are applied for the use of precise data in the U.S., and these funds are essential for supporting our ongoing curation and improvement of the data. Now let's look at another reason why there are limitations on how our data can be used and shared. In general, all precise EO data is considered sensitive, but some species are more sensitive due to the fact that they are under pressure from poaching or overharvesting. One example of this type of species is the southwestern barrel cactus, shown here, that has been documented to occur in the southern parts of Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, and extends into Mexico as well. The pulp of the barrel cactus has been widely used for making cactus candy. This has accounted for its destruction and therefore is protected in many areas. Vandalism or intentional or unintentional habitat destruction can also be a factor, especially when the habitat a species relies on is in itself sensitive to disturbance. The decline of the bog turtle shown here is due primarily to the loss, degradation, and fragmentation of its habitat, as well as to excessive and illegal collection for the pet trade. There are many other sensitive species that are declining due to poaching or habitat destruction, particularly reptiles, cacti, orchids, pitcher plants, and plants collected for medicinal use. In addition, some landowners that we work with may require that information about species on their lands be obscured or excluded altogether. So that plays into the limitations on how data can be shared externally and how it can be used by third parties. The image on the right of this slide is a page of our standard data use terms that are found on NatureServe Explorer and Explorer Pro. NatureServe data use terms have been vetted and improved over many years to protect the data from FOIA and from misuse. The basic terms of use include one, that data users are required to take the training you're taking now to ensure that you have an understanding of the data and how it can be used. Second, the precise data, when provided under a license agreement, can only be used internally by the licensee. There are a few exceptions. We allow the sharing use of some generalized data products as specified in the license, but any external uses must cite NatureServe and the NatureServe network as a source of information. The data must be updated every 12 months since our data is continually changing based on new information and new field surveys. A recent analysis of our data has shown that there can be up to a 30% change rate in our data from year to year. And finally, we highly recommend that you contact our local network programs when there are any ground disturbing activities planned. And during the acquisition of precise data, NatureServe will provide an opportunity for data users to meet with network programs and facilitate the provision of additional data sets that might be available locally from our network programs.